All right, so at 170 pounds, this is a tough fight. And why is it a tough fight? Well, for Carlston Harris, if we're just talking wins and losses inside of the UFC's octagon, well, Harris is kind of a new entrant. You saw him over there plying his trade with multiple different promotions. XFC, I showed a picture of that fight where he took on Michel Pereira. He got the win there. He had a fight with Immortal FC back in Immortal FC 6 against Wellington Turman. I threw a picture of that fight up a few weeks ago. And so you've seen him beat these UFC caliber fighters. Jolton Luderbach as well. Outside of the UFC, Carlston Harris was that guy. Now, he beat Carl Booth, who was a guy that got it done with Brave, with Cage Warriors, kind of all over the place. And then he loses to Jarrah Hussein Al-Salawi, the champ, over with Brave. That was back in 2018. For Carlston Harris, title shot, it's not realized. Al-Salawi ends up with PFL years later. And so what does Harris do? Just wins and wins and wins. And everybody kind of got familiarized with him on Dana White's looking at FWD for a fight. I'm going to let that sink in. FWD to a fight. Dana White's FWD to a fight. And Harris gets the win over Sagid Isakakmaev. And so he gets the contract. He's in the UFC. And Harris goes on the run that he's on. He beats Impa Kasanganay. He beats Christian Aguilera. He beats Jared Gooden, who came in on incredibly short notice for Abubakar Nurmagomedov. Knocking on the UFC's door. Jared Gooden, bring me back. I would like to fight again. And Gooden missed weight in that fight. And it was not a Gooden look for Jared Gooden. And of course, there was a battle of words that ensued here on our YouTube channel and Twitter with old Dan, best fight picks, and it was all water under the bridge at the end of it. But Gooden came in at 177 for that one. But we can't forget that loss that Harris had, the spinning wheel kick against the chosen one, Shavkat Rakhmonov. So Harris looking to get it done. Now, I'm eager to see, because Harris is one of those guys that likes to defend takedowns very well. Active, fast hips for an older gentleman at 170, but he's got great front chokes and he's got great jiu-jitsu. When you have a look at Jeremiah Wells, everybody making fun of Matt taking vacation. Look at the guy's Instagram. He's actually on vacation. The craziest part about it is, too, there's been a lot of people that have been hard on us taking vacation, moving some of our production schedules around. We've never done this. And we've been doing this since 2018. So it's been a fun summer, and you only get one chance. So you got to do vacations every now and again. So check out his Instagram at Matt Allen FMP. He's living it up in Europe. Now, for Harris taking on Jeremiah Wells, the former CFFC champ, Jeremiah's shown that some of these CFFC guys, like Basel Hafez, if you got some... and they fought each other, so that's kind of the crazy part about it too. If you look at a guy like Jeremiah Wells, the wrestling's on point. You saw it when he took on Blood Diamond, and the controller just kind of shut off. And he didn't know what he was doing, and he ran into the cage, and then he got it done. Jeremiah Wells is a guy that, if for strength, for wrestling, for striking alone, if you just isolate all of his skills, they're all very, very good. It's just sometimes they don't always go together the best. Now, he gets the win over Blood Diamond. He finishes the notoriously hard-to-finish Court McGee. McGee hadn't been finished since what? Wasn't it, It was years and years and years ago. I'll go back to it. Listen, we're doing this one live. I can't cut anything out. But Court McGee hadn't lost by finish. I think it was the fight against Ponzinibbio. It was the fight against Ponzinibbio way back in 2016. So he went forever without getting finished. And then he ended up getting finished by Jeremiah Wells. And then, of course, Matt Brown. But if you do consider it for a guy like Wells, his last time out, he gets dropped by Matt Semmelsberger a couple of times. Wells wrestling gets him through, and then he wins a split decision. And the judging criteria is really weird. And when you do look at judging, I mean, I saw it out there today in some of the media clips. Like Corey Sandhagen had to address judging, and you've obviously got those ABC meetings that are going on right now. I see it a lot from Eric McCracken over on Twitter. Nick Diaz was there. Dan Tom's there. A lot of really important people. So hopefully there's a lot of conversation around not just fighter health and so on and so forth, but the judging and the judging criteria as well. But when you look at a fight like this, Jeremiah Wells, awesome wrestling. But we'll see how it plays out in a fight like this, because I think Carlston Harris, the shiftier striker, have him listed as orthodox and Wells as switch. But I mean, the kicks out of Harris, you got to watch out for those. He has his own takedowns. He got great jiu-jitsu. And when you look at the losses for these two guys, Harris has been chinned a couple of times, but the last time we saw that against Shavkat Rakhmonov, top man. And I thought Jarrah Hussein Al-Salawi was going to go on a pretty darn good run with PFL. It just hasn't necessarily happened. So a tricky fight in this one. The big-time win streak on the line, going back to his fight against Vinicius de Jesus, the CES 55 main event in 2019 for Jeremiah Wells. He lost that one by decision. And for Carlston Harris's last time out, got that win against the short notice man, Jared Gooden. We have a look over at the Tapology vote. Surprised us there to you. 739 total votes, 83% Wells. Large proportion have him to win by knockout, 67% by knockout. For the 17% that have Harris, 34% by knockout, and 21% by submission. Wells is favored in the fight. Lord Nikon saying, my head says Wells, but my heart also says Wells. Prince Vegeta-san, when did get any takedown to the end of the round, not counting the 3 takedown. We're going really hard into it. Manny Maniac, I like both fighters, but Harris I feel is a little sloppy with his striking. Got the more well-rounded fighter in Jeremiah Wells. Matt in this one going with Carlston Harris to get the win in the matchup. Matt's got Carlston Harris in this one. And I don't want to be a contrarian and labeled as such by the internet, but for me in this one, I'm going to go with Jeremiah Wells. He has to watch out for those submissions, but he trains at Marquez MMA with some of the best in the world. You look at it, the Sean Brady's, the B. Joe Pfeiffers, a litany of guys from the 170 mark up to 185 and so on. For me, I like Wells in the fight, but Matt does have Carlston Harris, so we're split on the pick in this one, and we move it forward. Again, you talk about fights that could be on the main card. Kyler Phillips coming back, taking on Raoni Barcelos, my guy. You're not going to want to miss it. Keep it locked in with Fight Night Picks, and as we always say, let's get into it.